Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, we invite you to check out evolutionaryenergyarts.com, learn more about us and some of the other things we do, such as spiritual coaching, Vedic astrology, biofield tuning, alignment of chakras and energy bodies, and also helping people contact their guides or even loved ones that have passed on.
We do all the fun stuff.
Actually, it is. It's wonderful. I love it. I truly, truly do. I also love big mysteries like this. Look at this. This is from Megalithic Marvels. As you zoom in here to Nevada, of all places, well, of course you're going to expect to find a giant triangular something in Nevada. You know, again, the triangular ships like the TR-3B are some of the most common ones that are seen that truly are our military. Sometimes along with ETs is what we've gotten. Our military working with ETs. When you look at it, it's not hard to connect the military with extraterrestrials. We've all heard of reverse engineering and the fact that we've gotten a lot of technology from, let's say, ultra-terrestrials. Again, that way we could include beings that are interdimensional, beings that may be living inside the Earth or under the oceans, as well as those that come from other planets and other star systems. So when you look at this and you get the longitude and latitude, it really is there, and it's enormous. I mean, it is enormous. As you can see, it's 40 degrees, 40.20, 41 north, 117.20, 48 west. And those are extremely straight lines. And yes, it does kind of look like the bottom of a pyramid. Maybe it is the bottom of a pyramid. When we look outwards here, it gets even more interesting. Oh, Mount Tobin. Yeah, I remember Mount Tobin. And as you can see where we are, and by the way, Mount Moses. Isn't this curious? Here in Nevada, we have a Mount Moses. Yeah, did you receive other commandments from some of the ETs, some of the Elohim over there? Well, again, our government works with ETs. In fact, takes instruction from ultra-terrestrials, let's say UTs. And then you see Lovelock. Oh, there's so much. There's just overwhelming how interesting this particular location is to me. And, of course, they don't want me keeping this open for long. Lovelock is famous. And then you have Battle Mountain. I want to look into the history of that Battle Mountain more. Here we have Winnemucca. There you have Elko. These are places that are very well known to Cindy, and also myself, but even better known to Cindy. When you look out from here too, you'll notice that what we're really looking at down through here is, again, Nevada test site and the military bases. But what the heck is this gigantic, enormous triangle, or is it some sort of pyramid? It's clearly not natural.
You know what came to me just so instantly was, this is like there was a pyramid there. There was a pyramid. So it's like a landing pad for something very large and pyramid-like.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of our history has been removed, just totally removed. It's just a real curious area that looks like a volcano, doesn't it? Yeah, we've done a lot of exploring in Nevada. One of the other interesting things, and we're going to touch on Lovelock because I know some of you have already had the light bulb go off and say, "Wait a minute, isn't that where the giants were?" Oh yeah. And also, this area is directly below an area that we had a really unusual quake swarm. So, when you looked at this, we saw all these quakes swarming in this area, and we actually talked about this too, saying this is a little bit unusual. All these quakes right here Why? I don't know. I really don't know. I am very suspicious it's something to do with underground bases. Again, when you look at Nevada, do you know 85% of Nevada is owned by the government? It's controlled by the government, and thus a lot of Nevada will never be seen by eyes that are not military. And that's just the truth. As you could see, there's an awful lot of swarming going on in this area. Lovelock and the Giants, the legend of giant skeletons in Lovelock Cave, Nevada, centers on the so-called Lovelock Giants, a term used for human remains allegedly discovered during excavations in 1911 and subsequent digs in 1912 and 1924. These remains were reportedly measured at 8 to 10 feet, some sources claiming the skeletons were mummified, similarly to ancient Egyptians, and some of them had red hair. Oh, isn't that curious? Well, again, when we look at what we're talking about here, this area over here is where we are looking. Let's scoot over to here so you can see it. What I'm also hit by is just all the military. All the military. Of course, we have all the military down in, the gigantic base, that we called Nellis, which has recently been renamed Creech. But then it also brings me over to, again, the area that we had that gigantic quake that Cindy and I felt too. Over here, right where the naval station is, as you can see, China Lake. And when you look to China Lake, this area here is mountainous, and there's caves, and there's legends of giant bodies there. Also, mummified remains that look very Egyptian there. Then you just come on over and you go to the Grand Canyon, and a whole portion of the Grand Canyon's blocked off because mummified remains were found there. Giant bodies were found there. Things that look like they belonged in ancient Egypt were found there, as well as things that look like they belong in Tibet. Because we've had a global culture. It was a global civilization that they've basically tried to hide as much as they can, and that's why you'll get the trolls. And some of those trolls are working for the military or the secret societies. Oh, there's no evidence. I mean, what they really want to say is, well, we've done our best to remove all the evidence.
They do their best to do that. We did a video on these giants a while ago, and it wasn't allowed to stay. There was some things wrong with it. So says the system. Here. But we do have it now. It was kind of a struggle getting it up and keeping it up, though.
Yeah, it was. I appealed it. They took it down. First they demonetized it, then they took it down, then I appealed it, and then when a human, looked at it, it got reinstated. And this is from 6 years ago. I mean, this is from when Cindy and I were first exploring together. And, the giants of Lovelock, it's a really, really interesting history because, the Native Americans in this area have a detailed story about how they went around killing and exterminating these giants that had particular taste for certain barbecue, which you don't want to be invited to. And so they, in one instance, lit a fire in front of a cave where the giants were, and the smoke eventually forced them out, and they barraged them with arrows, or some giants perished in the caves themselves. Clearly, though, not all giants were of the red-haired variety, and not all of them had that particular taste for barbecue. Actually, some of the giants were very, very nice. Again, you could see when you look down to the maps down in Patagonia, down into Argentina and Chile, you see very friendly giants inhabiting down there. Also, again, different types of giants have existed all around the world in different ages. So a 1931 newspaper article reported the discovery of 2 more giant skeletons measuring 8.5 and 10 feet in a nearby dry lake bed. 15-inch long sandal and a boulder with a large handprint were also found at the site. The legend is tied to the Paiutes tribe oral history of the Sitka, a group of red-haired, barbecue fond, because I don't want to say that word because that's what triggered it. Giants that arrived by sea on reed rafts and had been defeated by a united tribal force, with the last of them reportedly trapped and burned alive in Lovelock Cave. Story has been echoed in other cultures. 16th century Peruvian tale recorded by Spanish conquistador Pedro Cieza de Leon, describing giants with legs as long as an average man's body. Of course, now, the rest of this they'll say is unconfirmed, no evidence, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know how it goes. But there is tons of evidence. They just don't want to acknowledge the fact. And, I'll put the link to this video so you can check it out for yourself. Again, Sarah Winnemucca, the daughter of Chief Winnemucca, wrote this down in an autobiography talking about life with the Paiutes and the fact that, their tribe exterminated that group of giants. Oh, history is not what you've been told. Not what you've been told at all. Interestingly enough, that's not the only triangle in Nevada. This is another one. This is about 3 degrees further south from the area that we're looking at. Man, it's just fascinating. Oh, and also, do you know about the mystery of the Nevada Triangle? Well, there's another triangle. There's a triangle, kind of like a Bermuda Triangle, where thousands of planes have gone missing or crashed. Yeah, in the past 50 years or so. Nobody knows exactly how many, but about 2,000 seems to be the best evidence of this Nevada Triangle, which goes into California, by the way. So if you look at this, you could see this triangle goes way past Reno. You're up towards Shasta, and then you come all the way down past the Bay Area and then cut across. Well, what's in the heart of this area? Well, Nellis Air Force Base, but not just Nellis. Again, you have, what was that other place a little bit farther north where they store all the weapons? Hawthorne. Yeah, my gosh, you go by Hawthorne, it's loaded with underground barracks and storage areas for weapons. And then we were there for that 7 point whatever it was earthquake. We were camping right on the California border when the big one hit the China Lake area. And man, it was a blessing, really, to be able to say I felt a 7 point something, because the whole camper, I thought we had 4 Bigfoot that were trying to tip us over. It was insane, but it was fun at the same time.
Yeah, Mike gets like that. It's like, no, stop it some more. I don't like this. Stop it some more. He's kind of like that, and it's okay. We're all a little different. We like a little adrenaline rush, keeps us alive, as long as nobody gets hurt. But yeah, it was pretty wild. That camper was shaking like crazy. So a lot of interesting things go on in the desert. We have things what looks to be, dragon skulls. I mean, the eye sockets in that darn thing, it's just, and a nose, socket. It's just too much. And the energy of that dragon skull felt majestic. It really caught Mike and I off guard. We were just sort of walking toward it. He almost fell in a mine. Yeah. A mine shaft.
I think if it wasn't for Zeke, I might have been dead, because I was just not looking, and I was almost walking down a 100-foot mine shaft. Yeah. I just looked down, and Zeke was looking at me and gave me a look, and then like 3 feet in front of me is just a cliff. It just drops, and I couldn't see it because I was just staring at what looked to be a dragon skull, and I could feel the energy that this was a living being. Mm-hmm. And we've showed that before. We do have copies of it. We did the most exploring in this area of Nevada, so we were out there, and we also hit energetic barriers where I know we were being monitored, and getting that strong feeling like somebody is in a microphone saying, "Get back." Go back, almost like there's somebody has you in a scope just waiting to take you out if you move too close. You could feel the energy. Again, we got to be there for each other and support each other through these times, as so much is going to be uncovered. So much. Again, when you look at it, I think about, and I don't want to, we could come back and talk about this in the future too, this triangle. Because, where we were talking about with China Lake is a little bit farther south. It is probably within the green, or right about at the green. We were on the way, I forget if we were on the way to a friend's house over there in Lancaster. We were exploring a lot of that area. And I had also just done a whole bunch of reading about, again, miners and explorers that found entrances into a massive cave system loaded with giants and loaded with all sorts of strange technology. Really, really wild stuff. So when you look at this, and of course up in Shasta, the energy of Shasta is just wild. It's thought to be the root chakra of the earth. I mean, we absolutely loved Shasta. If we could afford to, we would consider living there. But of course, also California has all those laws, and it was those type of laws that drove us out of New Mexico. Because we do believe in freedom and the taxes, the expense. But Shasta is amazing, but there's also tons of UFO sightings up in this area, as well as Bigfoot sightings, because all this goes together. This all goes together. It's part of a much bigger puzzle, and they're all interconnected. And I know it's a lot for certain people to handle.
It's a pretty interesting place. You would think if you're just driving through, the most exciting thing you're going to see is a telephone pole every so often. I mean, it is just dirt. It is dry. It is sage. But there's a lot of beauty in the desert if you choose to see it. And there's a lot of mystery in the desert too, if you just dare go to explore it. So I've seen some pretty amazing things out in that desert. And, just a funny side story. When I first moved there, I was quite young, and I heard about these horny toads. And I thought, how inappropriate. Why would they just talk about toads being horny? It was so goofy. And then finally one day I did see a horny toad, and I realized they have horns all over them. Nobody told me that. Everybody was just saying the inappropriate things. It was just horny toads. Anyway, there you go.
As always, guys, thanks for your support. We couldn't do it without you. Please do leave comments. Let's hear what you think. And let us know, what other topics really, really interest you. I particularly love these type of ones. To me, these are fun and fascinating. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.